Okay, so welcome to this tutorial for Prince of Persia 2008 Any%. So just to give a brief overview of what this is all going to be about, the first few episodes are going to be on just general movement and glitches. From then on, we're going to move on to things that are specific to the run. And you'll actually see a few episodes by Samabam in those because he did a tutorial for an old route for this game, and some of the strats are still relevant, which means I can reuse his videos. Uh, anyway, as of this episode, I still want it to be useful in some way, so we're just gonna go over some basic things that you might want to know about in the game. So just to start off, you might ask the question if you want to play with a controller or a keyboard, and I'd recommend that you have both. So you want the controller to be able to reset camera. That's because there's no way to reset camera on mouse and keyboard without third-party software. So it's better to just have a controller, in my opinion. And similarly, you need the keyboard for some precise setups where you need to use the WASD keys, and you're gonna have a hard time doing those on controller. But other than that, you can choose which form of input is what you use mainly. So there are runners who play with mouse and keyboard, and there are runners who play with controller. It's just that every now and then you may need to use the other. Okay, so moving on to some basic movement. You get about in this game by simply walking, alternatively jumping. Both are fine. Both are about the same speed. If there's any difference, it's negligible. But the only difference between them is that you'll notice if I start walking, the prince will start off slow and then accelerate to max speed. However, if you jump, then he'll accelerate to max speed immediately. So if you're moving from the spot, it's slightly faster to jump, but after that, it's the same thing. And for some more general movement, this is going to be quite important in the game. So you want to be able to control sometimes whether the prince does a vertical or horizontal wall run. And the exact position of the prince doesn't always determine this. So for example, if I jump here, not holding anything, he does a vertical wall run. However, if I jump from about the same position into the same spot holding D, you'll notice he'll do a horizontal wall run. Similarly, what I can do is jump, move my camera, and then hold W, so like this. And that will also make him do a horizontal wall run. And then the last case is just looking straight at the wall and holding W. Or of course you could look to the side and hold to the side. So for example, like this, looking to the side and holding D. So doing these inputs will determine whether a wall run is horizontal or vertical. However, this won't always determine it. For example, if your angle is too sharp, there's nothing you can do. The wall run will be vertical. So for example here, I held D, but you can see it was vertical because I was practically perpendicular to the wall. Then a quick thing to note about columns. When you jump on a column, generally the prince turns around immediately, but a thing you may or may not have noticed playing the game casually is that if you hold an input to the side, When you step on a column, the prince actually just goes to the side instead of turning all the way around. So that's just a quick thing to note, and the way you do it is by holding an input before you grab the column, and that's important. If you hold the input after grabbing the column, it won't work. And yeah, that's about it, and it just saves some time, and you can do some cool movement like this with it just once you get the hang of it. And yeah. And as the last thing for this episode, I'm just gonna briefly go over some vine movement. So vine movement, if you just mash jump as you go on vines, you go faster, but you probably already know that from casual gameplay. However, what you should also note is that in situations like this one, where you need to go up and grab that other vine, you'll see that if I mash, I won't grab that vine. However, if I first climb all the way up to the top, wait until the prince gets into this position, then I do a wall run, he will grab the vine. So in other words, the prince will go slightly higher when you go up to this position and then you do a wall run, than if you were just mashing jump from a lower position. Okay, I buffered the jump there, but yeah, you get the point. Anyway, another thing with vines, and I can show this off again anyway. So another thing with vines to be noted is moving downwards on them. Now, if you ever move downwards, if you move down and mash jump, like you would with any other vine movement, you can get into a state known as vine glitch. And there, I just got it. You see, I'm not holding any inputs, and he's doing this, and if I press anything, he's still climbing down, and there's nothing I can do. I'm just stuck here. I have to either grind down or jump away. So never move down and mash space on the vine at the same time, because you can get into vine glitch. If you need to go down on the vine, you should just grind down like this. It's quite fast. Yeah, and that's about it for the first episode then.